What's up guys,
Dr. Culture
Nico here, and in this video I'm going to be telling the harsh truth about Nico here, but it's an open secret that not everyone respects Nico here, his
Monday,
or what he did to dictate his legacy.
I'm coming to you outside of my office today because one of my patients is acting out, and it's affecting me and many of my loyal students. So if Pacific Hoops is gonna censor the Pacific youth, I have no choice but to tell the Pacific truth. If you haven't seen my last video, I was conducting a case study on plagiarism. The main patient in question was Pacific Hoops, a basketball channel narrated by its creator, Nico. But after some thorough research, I had to let the patient know that unfortunately he contracted PPD, his main victims being professional authors of online articles. After the study concluded, I posted the video and made a Twitter account to try to DM some of the authors to let them know about Nico's money-making scheme, their hard work essentially being sold behind their backs. Then, I went to sleep knowing that I'd done the right thing. Or did I? Ding. A notif awoke me from my slumber. Pacific Hoops commented, "Renzo's my writer, bro. Take this down. You're making a fool of yourself. He already DM'd you back." Crying, laughing emoji. I had to pinch myself to make sure I wasn't in a nightmare. Not only did I have to take down my video, but I was making a fool of myself. And if I've learned anything about my years studying the culture, it's that when someone sends the cry laughing emoji at you, they're actually crying laughing at you. So I logged on to Twitter, but something caught my eye. Despite never saying a word to him, he blocked me. Now, if I was Nico and someone with a much smaller platform than me thought I was a plagiarist, but was actually just making a fool of himself, I probably wouldn't block him because there's nothing to hide, right? So I checked my DMs and indeed, Renzo responded. Pacific Hoops and I went to school together and he paid me to write his piece. I really appreciate you trying to let me know though. There's a chance he has that kind of a deal with the others though. So hope you could reconsider your vid since it might affect him negatively. We'll dig deeper in a second. But not only does Nico pay a ghostwriter, but they might all be his ghostwriters. And if that's true, that means I uncovered the biggest basketball scandal since water bottle weed, meaning that journalists as high echelon as ESPN theoretically let Nico take their articles, use them in his videos, and pass them off as his own without any credit. So just so we're all clear, either this guy is the biggest sports article mob boss of all time, or maybe he just plagiarizes and now he makes money from it, and so he pays the smart guy from high school to write the articles for him, which by the way is still plagiarism, my guy. So it's worth noting that Nico's now going back to put this in his description. Shout out to my good friend Renzo Salau for crafting this piece together with me and getting it some deserved clout here on YouTube. We collaborate from time to time, and if you want to see the of this video, please give him a follow. Now, if you're a little suspicious of his motive here, I don't blame you for two reasons. If this is about proving that he's not a plagiarist, let's look at the written version of the video, which by the way, is very kind of Nico to do for all the people who can't see, or hear, or press the captions button. On June 9th, Renzo Salau says, "I won't sugarcoat anything when I say that Melo's overall career has been a huge disappointment." Okay, so I is clearly referring to Renzo. On June 10th, Pacific Hoops tells his fans,
"I won't sugarcoat anything when I say that Carmelo Anthony's overall career has been a disappointment." Hey guys, it's Nico.
Guys, which one of you is not doing the sugarcoating? Or does I refer to the general entity of Pacific Hoops that's really a morph of both of you? But then why would Renzo say Pacific Hoops and I and not list you anywhere on the written version? Oh, wait, there's Nico's video. Oh, wait, that's not Nico's video. That might just be the thing that he uses as the visual while he uses the surrounding article as the audio.
There's little to no doubt that Nico here took the easy way out.
Let's say it's not about proving he doesn't plagiarize, it's about giving credit to the writers. Well, if that's the case, then why wouldn't he give Tamberlin Richardson any credit for this video?
One of the best point guards in the league today, which I thought was going to limit his production, but instead has...
You thought her words. Or maybe she's one of the ghostwriters you paid in. No way this was authorized. Oh, well, maybe Nico credited her in the description. All we have to do is check the link.
Homie, the cops outside. Lock up the house.
Video's now private. What an absolutely fascinating coincidence. That means nobody can prove it ever existed anymore. But let's give him the benefit of the doubt. If he did plagiarize these videos, maybe this is the only way he could come to his clear conscience and still spare his ego at the same time. Well, if that's the case, then why wouldn't he delete the video right next to it? I don't see him crediting Mike Schmitz here.
It's Nico here, and I'll be sharing with you guys. It was the Oakland Soldiers who annually fielded calls from the top collegiate countries in the country.
This is when I began to lose hope in a full recovery, because in order for Nico to fully accept treatment, he'd have to recognize the disease in the very foundation of his channel.
It's not too late for Nico here to redeem himself though. We expected more from someone who showed so much promise so early in his career.
From his very first video listed, he coincidentally uses wording that 2 separate articles also use.
Plays with an edge of competitiveness every second of the game, since he needs to channel that somewhere. Am I right?
I guess, Nico. But there's no need to be so hard on yourself, man. We all sound awkward in our first videos, but we learn with practice. But if you get accustomed to using someone else's words, then it just makes you even more awkward when you use your own.
It's just a matter of putting that weight up and constantly communicating with whoever he's with on the floor.
I guess I'm starting to see why he uses other people's. But at the end of the day, there's certain things that money can't hide. Despite having changed his logo since I dropped my last video, even his foundational image itself is more suspicious than a D'Angelo Russell water bottle. And if this is a product of his hard work, he shouldn't mind me using it. He seems like a logically consistent fellow, just so we're not hiding the fact that this video is indeed related to the real Pacific Hoops. But Nico didn't take that diagnosis very well at all, because when people delude themselves, the truth can be a grieving process.
The harsh truth about Nico here is that he isn't who we thought he was. Instead, Nico here has shown that he's the type of person who would
Use censorship
just to defend himself in online arguments.
In his first stage, the patient's denial was palpable, as it seemed he tried to hide everything that challenged his fantasy. He told me to take down my video. He made some convenient changes to his channel, and at first glance, it seems the fantasy is alive and well. No trace of anyone calling him out. But if someone uses censorship to hide the truth, I don't think the ends justify the means. So no matter how adept he gets at blocking them out, let it be known that these comments stood as martyrs, rebels for the daring cause of telling the truth. And with this comment magically disappearing as well, I think it's earned a spotlight of its own. As our patient moves from denial to anger, it's important that we be understanding as he wields his platform to belittle actual journalists. As our patient moves from anger to bargaining, we must be understanding as he offers us an incredible gift as recompense for his sins. A coupon. But if he does reach acceptance, I'll be genuinely proud. More proud than I'll be if he makes it by his current standard. Because even in a world where we can pay writers all the way to the top, the corrupted foundation of how he got there is something that all the money in the world can't bury. At the end of the day, he'll go to sleep having to deny a harsh reality, because that I and the eventual I made it will carry a much bigger asterisk than KD's championships.
He still had the full freedom to choose where he wants to go. It's his career.
But if that's the choice you opt for, so be it. But if you're gonna try to censor the truth, rewrite history for your image, and still make money off of the video versions of online articles, I'm gonna use my platform, however small, to fight back for the culture. But since he's got the money to just hire ghostwriters now, how are we gonna tell if he's using his own words or not? Well, gather round, students, because here's a 101 on how to spot a Pacific oops. You'll know something suspicious when it sounds something like this. I talk like this when I don't know what I'm saying, since I think that this is what journalists are supposed to sound like.
He'll be a restricted free agent in the coming year, but he won't cost the Wolves too much money since it looks like it will be in the $8 to $10 million range only.
When I worked with people learning English from a language that doesn't use operative words, there's often an aha moment when they realize Americans emphasize certain words to demonstrate their point. But understanding when to emphasize a word is an actual learning curve that can only be faked to a certain degree. So when you feel like random words are jumping out at you, it might be because it's not his point to demonstrate.
And would require a roster overhaul. Would usually agree with him on that. To show that they are serious and already has enough firepower, they would have a lot of competition.
Add Andrew Bogut in.
Comes to mind as well if the Wolves
Actually fared better even, much like Dirk Nowitzki could. His highest points per game total, the Hamptons 5 lineup, the sudden supernova heel.
When you say superfluous, don't try to say it like it's some new word. Just say it smooth, like you already know what it means. No need for emphasis.
And what part of his talents were superfluous for the squad.
But since that money keeps rolling in, who am I to tell you what to do? But keep that same energy if one day you see a channel that sounds very similar to yours. Hey, what's up guys? It's Abraham here. And today we have another episode of Specific Hoops. After all, I'm just like you, man. I'm just trying to make some money. As a Warriors fan, don't you think I should be able to buy a shirt that actually fits me? Or some food so that I can fit the shirt? I understand that a white guy talking about the psychology of racism for 30 minutes probably isn't the most marketable thing right now. But if we both played by the rules, neither of us are. Me for being too boring and you for being a little too interesting. So if you keep up your tricks, your skincare routine isn't the only thing I'm taking. But in all seriousness, if you do keep hiding the problem instead of fixing it, just remember this. Avoiding the doctor doesn't make the illness any less real.
After so many twists and turns, whether he can rewrite his story while he still can, definitely remains to be seen. Let me know in the comments below if you guys like more videos such as this. Don't forget to drop a like if you want
More Dr. Culture!